welcome back to the channel. As always, a huge thanks to each and every single one of you for all your love and support. Please, if you haven't done so already, hit that all important subscribe button down below so that I know that you're there, and come along and follow me on Instagram. Yes, it's that time of year again. I can't believe how quickly the last year has gone. It's Halloween. Now, if you have been following me at all for any amount of time here on the Evelyn Adore channel, you'll know that I absolutely love dressing up. And I also love cosplay, whether it's dressing up as a character or creating everything from that character, from design right to the finishing touches, wearing the costume. And at Halloween, I usually like to go full out and create costumes just like I did last year with my Dany and Drogon cosplay featuring my gorgeous little Luna. But if you've also been following me here on the channel, my friends, you'll know that this year has been a particularly tough one. So I'm going to follow my own advice this week, my friends, and follow one of my top tips, which is be kind to yourself. I'm going to try to be kind to myself, and that is by not taking on quite so much this year, and instead of creating costumes for both myself and Luna, I'm going to concentrate on a costume for her. And this year the character is going to be one of the most loved droids on the entire planet and indeed the universe. I'm talking about R2-D2. So come along with me, my friends, as I create an R2-D2 Star Wars inspired costume for Luna. And maybe I'll be dressing up in some Star Wars cosplay myself in the reveal. You never know. Let's get creating, my wonderful friends. To create Luna's costume, I'm starting with a basic doggo jumper from right here on the Evelyn Adore channel, and there's a card above, my friends, to that tutorial. She absolutely loves wearing jumpers, so what a great excuse to celebrate her. She has been my absolute lifesaver lately, my beautiful baby beagle girl. To start, I traced the pattern twice, once for the front, once for the back, so that I can draft this new jumper, which, because it's decidedly colder now, will have sleeves in a raglan style. I made sure to mark in my seam allowances too, so that I can draft accurately. Beginning with the front pattern, I lined up my ruler at the centre front edge of the armhole, marking where the ruler meets the neckline along this line. I then made a second mark 1 inch further in towards the centre front from that first mark. Grabbing the back piece, I'm going to come inwards from the neckline edge in this piece by 1 inch too and make a mark. This is going to allow me the space at the neckline for those raglan sleeves. From these 1 inch marks, I'm then going to draw in my style lines to create the raglan style. Beginning with the front, ensuring that my style line encompasses all of the armhole on the original pattern, being sure that the new style lines on the front and back pieces meet the side of the pattern piece at the same height so that my side seams will match front to back. Grabbing my paper scissors, I cut along those style lines like so. To save time, I chopped off any remaining seam allowances, labelling the pattern as so. Taking the wedge from the back pattern, I took some spare pattern paper onto which I traced the curve from that piece like so. It's time to create the raglan sleeve. Grabbing the wedge from the front, I measure the width of both these wedge offcuts to ascertain how wide my sleeve needs to be at its widest point. This is so that the jumper doesn't end up being too small. I then plot this measurement out from the curve I've drawn where the widest point intersects on the curve as shown. On the other side of this new line, I'm going to trace the curve from the front wedge, flipping it to the wrong side to do so, effectively creating the front sleeve armhole curve. However, I've made an error. Points if you can spot it before I do, my friends. I square down from the bottom edges of the armhole curves, the measurement used here being how long I want the sleeves to extend down Luna's legs. To work out how long the sleeve hem needs to be, I take the circumference of the armhole and add 2 inches for ease. Making a mark in the centre of the width line that I made earlier, I then square down from that mark towards the hem. Then plotting half of my sleeve hem measurement that I just calculated to each side of the line to draw in the hem. Then drawing lines up from the hem edges to draw in the sleeve seams. And here is the pattern piece, complete with Luna fur and all. Can you spot the error, my friends? So using this pattern, I created a mock-up for this new Luna jumper. And well, it was a very good job that I did. Take a look at this. Yep, it's way too big. Much too big around her little neck. Let's get a look at that pattern and work out why. When I created the width of the sleeve, I didn't taper the width to narrow to the neckline, so the neckline is much too big. And here, my wonderful friends, is proof indefinite that we all make mistakes, and reason enough to always make that mock-up. And it's also reason to not pattern draft when you're feeling much less than yourself. So let's rectify that issue, shall we? Luckily, I keep all my pattern pieces. So let's adapt the pattern to correct it, starting by drawing a line down the centre of the sleeve pattern piece. Before cutting down that line to just before the hem edge to create a hinge so that we can close some of that excess fullness at the neckline. Next, I'm grabbing my original Luna jumper pattern, measuring the neckline minus the seam allowance and multiplying it by 2 to get the finished neckline measurement. Before measuring the necklines on my new front and back pieces. Taking the measurement of the new neckline and subtracting it from the neckline measurement of the original pattern tells me how big my sleeve neckline edges should be. Dividing that measurement by 2 will give the measurement for the pattern neckline edge on this sleeve piece. And I can then use that hinge on my sleeve pattern to close up any excess fullness over and above that measurement, like so. Truing those pattern lines, adding to the pattern rather than taking away at the sleeve hem edge, the pattern now looks like this. To test the pattern piece, I pleated the excess out of the mock-up jumper to match the new pattern piece. And doesn't she look super cute? Then it was on to sketching a front and back view of R2-D2 to help when it comes to drawing on Luna's final jumper. With her help, of course. Grabbing some white scuba fabric, it was time to cut those pieces out before getting to drawing. Beginning with a simple outline. Now here's where I hit another roadblock, my friends. Could I find my fabric pens? Nope, no I could not. So enter the trusty Sharpies. I wasn't planning on ever washing this wee jumper anyway, so this should be just fine. And after a lot of colouring in, it was time to sew those sleeve and side seams to complete her jumper. Here's the reveal. So there you have it, my friends. Halloween 2023 on the Evelyn Adore channel. And whatever you're doing, whether you're celebrating Halloween or Sound, or whether you're not celebrating at all, have a wonderful week. And if this video has taught us anything, my friends, it's that you really need to take heed of your own advice. I definitely needed to be a little bit kinder to myself this year, so creating for Luna was the perfect way to do so. And even if I do say so myself, she makes a rather cute R2-D2. But until next week, you know the drill, my friends. Take care of yourselves and stay safe. Bye. Help me, Luna P, you're my only hope. Hey? Yeah.